Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 87 for Tuesday, the 7th of September 2021. I'm your host, Mark Webb, gamertag Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby360G, and joining me on this very fine evening is...
Back quicker than expected, it's Mr. Peebs.
And a new recruit, Demon Knights.
And Sensei Switch, as usual.
So some of you might recognise Damo's voice from the paranormal special that we did a short while ago. And we have been chatting, and it's still not 100% yet, we may do a Halloween special episode as well. Ooh, spooky! So I've got a little bit of a time to prep for it, because it's only September. But we thought it might be a cool thing to do. Obviously, just to talk about, general spooky things, but also chuck in scary game discussions as well, because there's plenty of horror games out there.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So watch out for that in the future. I think we're gonna make time for it. I think it's a good idea. Yeah. So that's all good. But anyway, as we like to begin each week's show, now it's talking about games we have been playing. And since last week was a Patreon episode, and I normally chuck the first portion out for free, as everyone knows, me and Cole just talked shit forever before we even talked about the game, so everyone just got that for the first 20 or so minutes. And I actually went first last week, so for those of you that aren't Patreon subscribers, you wouldn't have heard that. So I'm going to go first again this week, because I played quite a few games, which is awesome. I completed one game this week as well. So, going to go straight into it, everybody. So, I'm going to get the game out of the way that I usually save for sending everyone to sleep, but I'm just going to get it out of the way now. Final Fantasy 14. I know. Every single week, I know people are saying, "Oh, you might as well just call it the Final Fantasy 14 podcast." But I love me some Final Fantasy 14, man. And I don't know, I've just been getting really, really hyped for the new content that's coming out in November. And I actually ran the new benchmark, the Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker benchmark. And my PC can more than handle it. And I actually... and what's quite funny is Wes keeps on going on about, I have a more powerful graphics card than you, but here's his AMD, mine's NVIDIA, and I actually got a better score on the benchmark than Wes did on his £1,000 AMD graphics card, so I was even more happy about that. But yeah, it's become this game is still an addiction for me. I finally got everything I want for my main class, but I'm now ranking up a second class now and doing some other bits and bobs. Seeing Darren on there most days as well. So I've been having a bit of a chit chat between ourselves and some of the other people on the game. A little bit disappointed though that Wes seems to have dropped off it in the last week or so. I've not seen him on.
Lifestyle.
Yeah. So you're just not hardcore, Wes. You need to get back on with us, man. My man. You need to get on it. Yeah. So, but it's it's still so busy. I don't think I've seen our free company this busy and so proactive in chats and just doing stuff together in quite a long time. And it's just really nice to see.
There's a lot of new members. That's why.
Yeah, there is a lot of new members, but it was weird because we've got like 300 or plus members, haven't we? We've got a lot of members, but you jump on and there'd hardly be anyone online. But now I jump on and there's at least like 20 people online in the free company, and all and everyone's chatting and helping each other out and stuff. So yeah, man, it's I'm really loving this game. Again, in a minute, I've actually pre-ordered the new expansion already. So that's ready to rock and roll, and that's just so I could get my extra XP earring for my character so I can rank up some other classes now. So, yeah, man, absolutely loving some Final Fantasy 14 at the moment. I know people are bored of me talking about it every week, but it is still my most played game at the moment. So pumping a lot of time into it. There's just always something to do, and there's always new things to discover. I mean, I've been playing this game for 8 years, and I've only just discovered this week the Chocobo racing in the Gold Saucer. I don't know how long it's been there for, but I literally only discovered it this week. So I've been doing some of that.
Since the Gold Saucer was first introduced.
Well, there we go. I never even knew it was there. So there's still new stuff that I'm discovering now. So, yeah, it's all good. I'm really, really liking that. I've been playing a little bit of Splitgate as well. I want to give a big shout out to Turk Monkey. I had a few games with him on Splitgate this week, and had a really good time with him on it actually. And it would be really nice to see more people in the community just jump on it. We didn't play it for long because kids and busy lives and stuff. But I think it was just under an hour we played together. We played some different game modes because there's so many different game modes on this game, and one of them is it's kind of like if you die you need to wait for the next round or whatever, and we hadn't played that sort of game mode before, and we just got absolutely stonked. But then we got onto the normal game modes like Team Deathmatch and like in Halo where you have the free hills like King of the Hill, but there's like three of them on the map, and you've got to fight to hold them the longest. So we did all right on that, and whilst we were playing it, me and Turk were just talking about the game in general and just how it takes a little while just to get used to the portal mechanic, because there are some people that have been playing this game for quite a while, the veterans, as you say, and they use the portals really well. So it's just when you're watching other players, you do pick up some good tips on it. And, you can just shoot through the portals at other players or go through the enemy portals if you want and just hope that they're not standing there waiting for you. And it just runs really well and really smooth, and it's kind of like what Halo should be like now. And the reason I say that is because after last week's show, we talked about Halo quite a bit as well as Splitgate. So I decided to jump back on some Halo Master Chief Collection this week as well, just out of pure interest because I hadn't played it for a while, and I love me some Halo. It's still busy as fuck, man. Like I went into Big Team Battle when I was in a full game within a couple of minutes. So it's still being played a lot. But the one thing I will say about Halo, I mean, the updated graphics on the MCC are great, but it's just the gameplay on it just feels so dated. And what I mean by that is we really do take for granted how first-person shooters work now. Like in Halo, you can't even sprint. You can't even look down the sights of your freaking guns. And when you go from a game like Call of Duty or this Splitgate or any other first-person shooter that's modern, it just feels like you've entered a time capsule. You're going back in time, and I don't know, man. I don't know if I could actually go back and play that like Halo MCC proper again now, just because of those dated mechanics, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just a shame really, because I love me some Halo. But yeah, Splitgate is really, really fun, and I think more people should check it out because it gives you that Halo itch, if that makes sense.
It looks very much like Halo, doesn't it? I'm just watching the video on the Twitch now, and looks very, very Halo.
Yes, it looks like, I mean, everything is Halo. Like, a lot of the guns are ripped off Halo, like the battle rifle ripped straight out of Halo. The assault rifle pretty much feels like Halo. The shotgun, not so much, but it's just the smoothness of the actual game, Peebs. It's, like how COD is very smooth, right, with the controls, it's very fast paced. It feels very smooth and accurate, like that, and it's just really nice because it's just so fluid, and it's even things like the map design feels very Halo, and the announcer feels like it's ripped out of Halo. You know what I mean? It's just like that kind of old school fun arena shooter.
How's this not been copyright infringement?
Because I think there's enough difference there with the portal mechanics to really make it enough, to make it differentiate enough from Halo. But because that portal mechanic, it does take some getting used to, because when you first start playing it, you don't really use it and you just play it like a normal first-person shooter. But then once you see other people doing it and you play around with the mechanics of the portals, it really, it takes a while, right? But after a while, it really does click with you, and then you start looking at the map a lot different, because you're scouring it right, because there's only certain, these blue areas which you can use the portals on. So you're scouring around and you're thinking, right, if I put a portal there and a portal there, I can come out there or shoot through there and maybe snipe someone through there. And the whole kind of tactical element of that portal mechanic comes into play. And it's really ingenious, and it's really, it amazes me that mechanic has been able to be put into a game, because if you think about it, you've got 5v5, so that's 10 players all using portals, all coming out of different areas of the map, etc. It's really clever if you think about it. It's crazy clever that the developers have actually managed to do that. And the fact that the game is also free to play, so they're making their money, obviously, just the usual free to play shooter way of selling you the cosmetics, which is fine. There seems to be a good amount of variation of maps and game types as well. So, if we could get five people on a game a night, that's enough for one team. So we could all have a right laugh getting our butts kicked by all the pro players on it, Turk Monkey has also reminded me it's full cross-play as well between PC, PlayStation and Xbox, which is really good as well. Yeah, so there's no excuse. We saying, Peebs?
What are the Chivos like?
I don't know, because I'm playing it on PC on Steam, so I don't know. You need to ask someone who plays it on Xbox.
I'm going to download it today.
Yeah, I mean, when I load up my PS5, I see quite a few people on my PS5 friends is playing it, but on the Xbox, I've not really seen many people play it at all. So
you must have Steam achievements.
Yeah, I don't. But the thing is, with Steam, I don't look at the achievements on Steam. They don't interest me at all. So, I can look and see how many I've got just out of interest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 9 Chivos on it.
Do they mirror the Xbox and PlayStation achievements, or is Steam different? Because I know the achievements...
I'd imagine, for multi-plat stuff, they'd stay the same.
Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah, so get your first triple kill, double kill, get a 5 kill streak and all that sort of shit. Yeah. So yeah, it's really, really fun. It is, I don't know, one of the most fun shooters out there at the moment, I would go out and say, and it's kind of one of those ones that for a lot of people's kind of being overlooked, I feel, because I think when Battlefield comes out, this is going to kind of go by the wayside with a lot of people in the community. So I think while there's not a lot out that's new, first-person shooter-wise, I think it's a really good opportunity just to give it a go. So... yeah, it's just my 2 cents on it, really. It's a lot of fun, and, I had a really good time with Turk Monkey on it, and we just had a laugh. Even when we were getting pwned, we were laughing our asses off. So, yeah, it's a great game. Any questions, or shall I move on? Looks like I'm moving on. So, another multiplayer game that I play a lot of, I don't really talk about it too much, is Fall Guys. I'm still playing this quite a bit. So I actually I went and saw my stepson this week, and we had a little bish bash bosh on it on the PlayStation 4 as well. And I obviously play it on the PC quite often, but it's a shame. I think there's a little bit of a missed opportunity with Fall Guys because it's not cross play, and I think that would be so cool, and I think it's coming to Xbox at some point this year as well.
It would make sense.
Yeah, 100%. It would make sense. I think the Xbox version got delayed for some strange reason, and so for those of you that haven't played it, it's like Takeshi's Castle, if you ever watched that. But it's like you play these funny bean type characters, and they have all a variety of costumes, and there's all these crazy levels that you fight to get to the end of, and it's just all crazy traps and obstacles to get past. So it's a lot of fun, man. I really, really enjoy it. I'll play it most weeks, and it just brings a smile to my face. You know what I mean? So,
still updating.
Sorry?
Are they still updating it?
All the time, man. They're always updating new levels. They do variations of the levels as well, so which is really good. So you could be loading up a level and you think, oh, fucking hell, I've played this level 100 times, but then you get onto it and it's like, oh, they've put different traps here, they've done different things in this part, you know. So they do mix it up quite a lot, which is really, really good as well. They do seasons and change things up a hell of a lot. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It really, really is.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it on my PlayStation 4, but I just don't switch the PlayStation on enough to play. I'm really looking forward to it coming on Xbox because I think I'll play it a hell of a lot more when it's on the Xbox.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird because it's one of those games where I think it'd be fun to because they do have squad based game modes as well, like duos and trios, etc. But because I never play with anyone else, I just jump on my own. I still have a lot of fun, but I think it could be fun playing it with friends as well, doing those kind of trio modes or whatever.
Yeah.
If someone cocks up, you're like, oh, come on, man, hurry up and finish. They're just that banter would be just quite funny, I feel. So, yeah, I do love a bit of Fall Guys. So there's that. So so moving on, I completed a game that came out in 1993, but they did a remaster. Myst. Do you remember Myst back in the day?
I never played it, but it was a huge game at the time.
Yeah, so this came out on Game Pass this past week. And back in the day, I actually remember playing this in school in the 90s. And we, I've always been a nerd, and I've always loved computer games, stuff like that. But Myst is one of those games that I never completed, and I've always wanted to. So I downloaded it onto my PC. It's also on Xbox, so there's no excuse not to check it out. And yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm gonna go out and say, yeah, I used a fucking walkthrough for a lot of the puzzles because it's just like when I was playing Myst, it just boggled my mind how people can figure out a lot of the freaking puzzles because it's just like so out of the box how you solve the puzzles throughout the game. I mean, it's very chill. And the graphics are absolutely stunning on this remaster that they've done. But it's like you get put on Myst Island and you go and you got to solve some puzzles and go off to some other areas and that as well. But it's like when I was playing through it and obviously using the walkthrough after I got stuck after about 20 minutes, I was just thinking to myself, fuck me, people must have been so smart to figure this fucking game out because it is mega fucking hard. It really is.
And when you think when the game came out, there wouldn't have been like your game facts and stuff because the internet
it didn't
very
exist.
Early years.
Yeah. I mean, like home-based internet wasn't a thing, So yeah, man. I mean, I really enjoyed it, and there was, I mean, even with the walkthrough that I used there was a lot of I had a notepad out and I was having to write things down and etc. just to use later on. And I think that kind of art in puzzle games has been lost these days. I mean, it was just very chilled. There's no fighting or anything. It's just walking around, solving the puzzles and that. And yeah, it was just really, really fun. I mean, what they've done with the graphical updates is absolutely insane. It's 4K, has ray tracing and everything. So they've really brought it up to 2021 standards. But yeah, if you have it, that's on Game Pass. So if you haven't played that, then definitely check it out. And the cool thing about it is there's 2 different modes. So one of the modes is the classic puzzles, which you could just use a walkthrough for, and it gives you all the answers. But the mode that you need to play for the Chivos, which is the mode I played, it randomizes the puzzles. So the walkthrough I was using, the dude was like saying this is how you go about figuring out the puzzle, but then you need to do it yourself. And even with that, it took me a while to figure out some of the puzzles, but then obviously I got there in the end because I completed it. But that's actually quite a cool way of playing it, because you're not just getting the answer shoved in your face, you're still having to figure it out, even though you kind of know how to do it, Yeah. So yeah, man, I really enjoyed playing through Myst. It was a lot of fun, and it is nice when they do a remake of really old games like this, because we've been very used to remakes of games that are like 5 years old or whatever bullshit, but a game that's like, early 90s being remastered for now, I think that's just really, really cool thing to see. So yeah, so there's that. So my other main game I have been playing quite a lot this week, Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I'm still going through my second playthrough of that at the moment. Obviously, it's been about 18 months since my original playthrough, and I'm absolutely loving this playthrough because I say there's a lot of stuff that I'd forgotten or not really taken notice of. It's like when you watch a movie again and then you can kind of you kind of notice other things in the background or bits of story that you kind of had zoned out on or whatever. So it's making me appreciate the game a lot more, doing a second run through of it. I'm taking my time with it, really soaking in the story. And I think the other reason I'm kind of soaking it in a lot more is I'm not, like the first time I played it, I fucking binged it. Like I had it completed within a couple of weeks, and it's not a short game, it's about 20 odd hours or so. And I'm playing it in short bursts, like 1 or 2 hour bursts, 2 hours max. I'm usually doing about an hour. And that's because my PlayStation 5 has now been moved into the front room downstairs. So I can't just sit in my man cave and just fucking be on it all the time. And obviously my missus can watch me play and stuff like that. So I'm kind of savouring it for those evenings, when I just want to sit downstairs and game, and she's playing Sea of Thieves on the laptop, on the gaming laptop. So I'm just playing it that way, and I'm actually enjoying the experience of playing it that way, just... It's one of those things I kind of miss about console gaming, is sitting on the sofa, feet up, and playing a game and just enjoying it that way. So the PS5 is going to stay in the front room now. Because of the other reasons, my missus is going to resubscribe to Final Fantasy 14 again, because it's been too long, and because she needs to get prepped for the new expansion coming out at the end of the year, because she's not even
finished Shadowbringers.
No.
She go,
I didn't even start Shadowbringers, so she's got a lot to do. So yeah, she needs to get on it, but she's got a bit of a Sea of Thieves addiction going on at the moment. Yeah, so a lot of evenings she's like, "Oh, can you play Sea of Thieves with me?" I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, not again!" Like sometimes it's like, "Oh, there's only so much Sea of Thieves I can play," and Frosty and Ruski are playing it a lot as well. When we're all doing, a lot of 4-player on it most evenings as well. Or like last night, me and my missus just played it for a couple of hours on our own, and that was actually quite fun. But sometimes you just want to sit and play some Final Fantasy, man, and just soak in the story and just check out Tifa. I know she's a video game character, but she, I love her. So yeah, so that's that. Played some Aliens Fireteam Elite, only a little bit, only did one level on that, still enjoying that with Frosty, so big thank you to Frosty for playing that with me. And...
Pick this up, are you liking it, Webby, or...?
Yes, I am liking it. Now, I'm really annoyed it's not cross-play, Peeps, because I think this is a game that I'd really like to play with you.
It's coming.
Sorry?
I think crossplay's coming to it, isn't it?
Is
I've
it?
Heard.
Well, that
because I know someone who's got it on PS5, and he was telling me that they're hoping to add crossplay at some point soon.
Well, it'd be good if it does, but the only thing is, it's only 3-player co-op, and I mean, it does feel like, you know, one of those old school like AA games that we used to get in the 360 era, but that's not saying it's crap or anything like that, because I think me and Frosty were talking about this. You know, we have been spoilt a lot with gaming in the last few years. So, you know, a lot of good AAA games, and that expectation bar is set quite high. But I think sometimes it's just nice to have that kind of AA game experience, just that kind of run and gun shooter where you don't really need to think much, because it does remind me of Gears a little bit. It's third person. There is a cover mechanic. But it's like there isn't really much time to take cover, because you just the hordes and hordes of aliens coming at you in a lot of the areas. But it's a lot of fun, you know. You get to the areas, it's a bit like horde mode on Gears, and and then you're going through the corridors, and you've got all the different aliens coming at you, and you got like they seem to sneak up on you as well, and you know, and it isn't all just set in a space station like I thought it was. But then when you get to the later levels, they're actually set on planets. So the areas do vary quite a lot as well, which is quite good. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I mean, it isn't a full price title anyway, is it? So
had a look. It's £35, I think.
Yeah, I think I paid like 25 for it on PC. It's fun, man. If you just want to jump on with mates and just have a laugh and shoot some aliens, man, it's good fun.
Yeah, I'm tempted to pick it up.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it, and I think, you know, if it had the cross-play, then that would be even better. You know.
Webby.
I'm obsessed with cross-play, Peeps, because I game on the PC now.
Yes, and most gaming friends still use consoles.
Yeah, well, you know, they need to just acknowledge that I am now superior in every way because I have the best hardware, and just deal with it, right? But in all seriousness, I think crossplay is kind of, it's one of those things that's kind of expected now, no matter what system you're on. You know, we've got friends in our community that only play on PlayStation, and you've got some that obviously only play on Xbox. We've got a lot of the community are now PC gamers, and I still like to game with everyone on every single platform. You know, I think the only bonus of crossplay between PC and Xbox is we can still use the Xbox party chat, whereas obviously on the PlayStation that you can't do that. So, you know, that's a little bit frustrating. But, you know, most Xbox games are crossplay with PC anyway now, Peeps, which is great. You know, I play a lot of Sea of Thieves. That's obviously crossplay between the two platforms. And you know, it just really annoys me when I can't game with my mates, because I've got mates who game on the PC like on Aliens, and then I'll have some mates who probably play Aliens on the Xbox, and it just frustrates me that we can't all game together, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I'm obsessed with crossplay, because like the thing for me is I just love gaming with my mates, and any barrier to that is just really frustrating. So, yeah, that's my thing. But anyway, Aliens is great, Peeps. It is really, really good. So, the last game... Oh, go on, before I move on.
Too many people on Xbox playing it, so I don't know if I have anyone to sort of play it with. That's the only thing. Yeah, I
don't know how well it's sold on console, to be fair. Because, as I say, I've not seen anyone on Xbox playing it either. So
I've heard it has dailies.
Yeah, I think it does as well. I've not investigated into the dailies. So I think Switch should stay away from this game because I know you have a little addiction to dailies, don't you?
It's not necessarily an addiction. It just depends what you get at the end of the day, doesn't it? If they're sort of worthwhile.
Yeah, and this is probably like gun skins or outfits or whatever.
Yeah. If it's actually working towards something, that's fine. If you're working towards a chance of obtaining them, then now that can piss right off.
Yeah. So the last game I've been playing, I've seen Peebs playing this before the podcast as well. So, sorry, Peebs, I'm going to jump into one of the games that you've been playing. Psychonauts 2 hit Game Pass this week. Now, I never played the original Psychonauts. I think it was an original Xbox game.
Yeah, OG Xbox, yeah.
Yeah, so I never played it. And I kind of, when this Psychonauts 2 came out, and I was like, oh, I don't know, it looks a bit meh. So I never downloaded it. And then Sly was talking about it in our chat room on WhatsApp, and I saw a few people online just talking about how good it is. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a download. So I gave it a download, and it's fun, man. It's really fun. It's really weird, though. So
weird.
how much of it have you played, Peebs? Because I've not played it loads this week.
I think it's the first sort of introduction, and now I've just made it to like a big open area where you can go off and do different things. The first bit is very linear, and
yes,
it's just showing mechanics and stuff of the game. But yeah.
So the first thing I want to say is the art style is very stylized. It's made by Double Fine, who obviously have a very good pedigree in the gaming world of making good quality games. It has that pedigree with it has a really cool art style, and it has a really good humour to it as well with the voice acting and the characters, which I think is quite cool. But it's all about these this kind of it kind of feels like a superhero type thing where they're the Psychonauts, so they're a bunch of sidekicks. And so I've only done the first kind of level as well, and it's about they go into people's minds to gather information. A little bit like Inception, actually, if you think about it. And it's just how crazy it can be. So it's obviously like the levels are really far out there, and they can be quite fucked up. Like you'll have like really fucking weird enemies with like their brains and teeth hanging out. You got like doorways that are like made of meat with zips in the middle, and but it's a proper platformer at heart, with a lot of collectibles around the stages as well. So it's worth doing some.
To open the beef curtains.
Yeah, well, yeah. So yeah, it's worth doing the exploration throughout the levels that you're going in to get all the little collectibles. Just for I'm guessing there's probably achievements tied to it, but yeah, the stylized art style does take a little bit of getting used to, I suppose. But I like it because it works in such a way where the fucked up looking characters and the fucked up looking enemies, like because it's very imaginative. It really works well. Like it feels a little bit like an old like children's cartoon, but in a really fucking fucked up weird way. You know what I mean? What would you say, Peebs? I'm struggling to explain it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, my first impression was it's a bit. I do think it's a bit kiddie-fied.
Yes.
The graphics, like you say, it's cartoony, but I don't think it really is a kiddie type of game because, like you say, it's weird and the characters and stuff. Like I say, I've not played too much. I'm not sure about it. I found it quite difficult in places, and I've only played about half an hour. I died a few times, but it does try and vary it up. There's like enemies to fight, and then there's platforms to jump across and stuff. And he's got loads of different. You can levitate. You can use your balloon thing to get across higher places. Yeah. So it's quite in depth. So yeah, I'm looking forward to carrying on with it.
Yeah, I'm thinking that. Well, saying that, I mean, I was playing it, and my boy was sitting in the man cave. He was sitting on my lap, watching me play it. And you know, because at the beginning it's a bit fucked up, really, because it's like the dude's a dentist. There's all these fucking weird teeth, like, and mouth, like, kind of brain stuff going on. And it looks quite gory, but in a cartoony way. And he was sitting on my lap and he was saying, "Daddy, turn it off. It's really scary."
So be having dreams of all that in the evening.
Yeah, so I'll probably having nightmares about it, because it is really fucking weird. Like, it does feel like you're playing through a really fucked up dream.
Yeah, I did see some people on Twitter when it came out, like, talking to Double Fine, because I follow them. Like, saying, like, you should have trigger warnings in your game because of, like, some of the stuff in it.
Oh God.
Like, but I suppose, yeah, like you say, people look at the stylized graphics and think instantly, like, oh, it's going to be like for younger audiences, not knowing that it might have deeper meanings of, like, mental disturbance and things like that going on with it as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's I wouldn't recommend playing in front of little children.
Is it a big long game? Do we know, or is it?
I looked online, and apparently it can be completed in about 10 to 12 hours.
Oh, so big enough then.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to do all the collectibles, it said online that it can take about 20 or so, but I'm just going to kind of blast through the main story. I can't be fucked with doing all that other bullshit. Because I think games in general are too long these days anyway. So I'd be happy with that.
Unless it's a game you really enjoy, in which case sometimes you're like, keep going.
Yeah. I mean, I've got. Personally, I don't know when I'm going to have this finished, because I've got Tales of Arise coming on Friday, and that's a big JRPG. So that's going to be my main game I'm going to be playing. So I'm hoping to finish. I want to finish Final Fantasy, but I don't think I'm going to finish that again either before Tales comes. So too many games, and I put a thing on Twitter this week, and I haven't been using Twitter much actually. But I'm in a really weird mode with games at the moment, because, like, I know I've been saying I've been playing a lot, but I've been playing a little bit of a lot, and a lot of my time sitting in my man cave's been just sitting, staring at all the games I've got to play, not playing them, and then just jumping on Final Fantasy 14 because it's kind of like, oh, I can't be fucked to play all these other games. And so on Steam, you can make folders, like, and name them. So what I've done is I've made a folder for, like, games I want to play next, and I've got, fuck me, 38 games just on Steam in that list of games I want to play next, all single player games. I don't even want to look at my Game Pass list on my bloody PC or my PlayStation or whatever. It just gets a little bit overwhelming sometimes, doesn't it? And you just kind of then, when you're overwhelmed, you just kind of go to that happy place where you just go to your comfort games, you know? That's kind of how I feel. But yes, back to Psychonauts 2. I think it's cool. I'm a little bit annoyed that I missed out on the first game back in the day on the OG Xbox. But I don't think you need to play the original at all. Just jump straight into this and give it a wash.
I'd never heard of the original, to be honest. I thought it was something to do with Scribblenauts. Do you remember that?
Yes, yeah. That's Nintendo, though, isn't it? Yeah.
Type game. That's what I thought it was linked to, but clearly they're completely different games.
Yeah.
It would make sense, because obviously the original was, like, well over a decade ago. You've got a lot of people gaming now that wouldn't have been gaming back then, so...
Yeah. Cool. That is all I've been playing, my dudes.
It's quite a lot.
Oh, mate, I know. I mean, it's an addiction demo, right? I mean, even with 2 little kids, I find time.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Crazy. Anyway, who's next? Was it Peebs?
Yeah, well, you've stolen my thunder, really, Webby, because that's pretty much all I'd played, really, that's new from when I was last on. I think I was on a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I haven't really played much, to be honest, apart from the usual FIFA, Warzone. I'm still plodding on with the Neon Abyss, which I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, which is still really frustrating. It's one of them games where I just don't want it to beat me, and at the minute it's just being really frustrating because I was explaining to get to the next boss, I have to wait. You have to wait for a random drop. I've now got the random drop quite a few times, and I've got to the boss, but I keep dying. And the last time it happened a couple of days ago, I really sort of just thought to myself, right, I'm putting the game down now. I'm not going back to it. It's just too frustrating. But I did put it on again this afternoon because it's just like I say, it's one of them. I just don't want the game to beat me. I want to see the bosses and try and complete the game if possible. But it's just annoying that you're having to wait for this random drop, which is just so you could play the game. It'd take you half an hour to get all the way to the boss, but because you haven't found the drop, it's pretty much useless.
Oh, that's fucking annoying, isn't it?
It's annoying. It's just, but I really enjoy the game, so I just want to carry on and hopefully finally do it. But so yeah, that's been taking up a lot of time. What else have I been playing? Nothing really. Like I say, I've just don't know because of the weather and going back out and stuff. The weather hasn't been great to be honest, but
it's been lovely today though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been nice. I reckon it's going to be nice this week, but I just haven't really been gaming much. Or when I have, it's just been Warzone or a bit of FIFA. But I mean, there's a lot of games coming out soon. Isn't it?
Yeah,
I've got on my hard drive ready. I've got Back 4 Blood pre-installed. I've got the Forza Horizon pre-installed. I've just been looking on the store and I see the World War Z new one coming out. I think that comes out.
It's not actually a new game.
Oh, is it not? It's like an expansion.
No,
is it?
it's the previous game, but with extra stuff added.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a new game.
Yeah, no, I looked into it after I think Stunty was talking about it on one of the previous podcasts, and it basically contains all the content of the previous game plus I think another 2 maps and like crossovers and extra characters and stuff. So if you haven't ever played it before, you get everything from the previous as well on top of this one. So which is again why I think it's like a sort of more reasonably priced title. But you can't actually buy an upgrade or DLC to get this version. You have to buy it outright.
Oh, they're doing the old Street Fighter things, are they? Or Capcom? Okay.
Well, yeah.
That's put me off slightly then, so I'm not so sure about that now. I was going to pick that up. But then it's obviously quite close to Back 4 Blood, isn't it? And they're very similar type of games, so perhaps I've got that bit wrong, really.
Well, at least Back 4 Blood's on Game Pass, though, mate. So you don't have anything extra for that.
Yeah. What else? Oh, I had a little look at 12 Minutes after you was on about it a couple of weeks ago, Webby, because I was intrigued with that.
What do you reckon? Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very weird, but I've literally put it on for 10 minutes, and because I just wanted to have a little look at it, but I was busy, and I thought I just want to have a quick look. But I'm off for a couple of days now, so tomorrow or Tuesday, I'm gonna, I've got an afternoon completely free, so I'm gonna sit and put all my time into it. But I have heard it's quite frustrating and difficult. So, have you completed it, Webby?
I got a couple of the endings. I know.
Using a guide, or did you do it?
I got to a certain point in. I don't want to spoil it.
No.
But I got to a point in the game where I was getting frustrated. Yeah. Because I just couldn't figure out what to do. So I did use a walkthrough, and I got a couple of the endings. But it's good for the Chivos. Ruski followed a walkthrough and got 1000 G on it.
Right, yeah.
But I think, to be honest, it's best played trying to figure it out first. And then when you get to the point where you're frustrated, that's where you kind of decide to use the walkthrough. Because that's kind of how I played it, and that's how I enjoyed it. Because the story is actually really, really good. So it's worth seeing it through to the end.
Yeah, and it's got like you said, William Dafoe, and then it's James McAvoy and Ridley and Daisy Ridley, isn't it? So
yeah,
got a good like pedigree actors to play in it. So
it's really good, really really good game.
Concept, isn't it? It's very simple but good in the same way. So
it's done very well because you got to think out of the box really with the discussions you're having, because obviously he's reliving the same 12 minutes over and over again and figuring out how to open up more conversation trees or other secrets and stuff like that. It's just really really good. It's really really well done.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to playing that. I've still got Hades on here. I've not started that yet. I've just downloaded Splitgate.
Cool.
I've still got Far Cry 5 and Valhalla to get on with.
Oh my god, you've got 2 big games there, Peebs.
Yeah, and then obviously it's silly season coming up with all the releases, so with the Back 4 Blood.
I don't know how you're going to get the time, because obviously you're a bit of a socialite, Peebs, aren't you? You like to go down the pub, do your days out and stuff like that. Now we've all opened up and you got your social life is kicked in again. You kind of your gaming goes and hits the back seat, right? So I'm going to be interested to see how many of these games you actually bloody play.
Well, I normally buy the COD every year, and I normally buy FIFA every year, so I'll probably buy them, and then obviously luckily Back 4 Blood's on Game Pass, so I ain't got to worry about that. The next one I was looking at was the Alien game. I've been hovering over that week, whether to pull the trigger on it and get it. But like I said, I've got all these others to play at the minute.
Yeah, and the thing with Aliens, Peeps, as well, is you need co-op buddies because the AI is terrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's that social aspect. I would say only buy it if you can find someone else or another 2 people to play it with, because if not, you're not going to enjoy it.
No, and then the problem is finding the time that you're all on together and stuff. And
it's not like the good old days where we'd be up gaming till 5 o'clock in the morning every bloody night.
We never had these issues.
Now I'm lucky to be up at 10 o'clock in the evening, mate.
Yeah.
Bloody kids get me up at 6 o'clock every morning. Bloody I'm knackered all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's not like I'm lost my mojo, because I still like playing the games, but nothing's really keeping my concentration or really got me engrossed that I want to play it all the time.
Yeah,
Far
I know
Cry,
that feeling.
I've still got. I played Far Cry for a bit, but it's not really drawing me back. Valhalla, I was just getting, I don't know, overwhelmed with it. I played a bit of the Ascent. Was okay, but I've got loads on here on the go at the minute.
Yeah. It's old Netflix effect with Game Pass, man. It just gets you sometimes. It does, big time. Stunty's right sometimes. I know he's not right on 99% of things, but with some stuff like the Netflix effect on Game Pass, he's 100% right on that,
Yeah.
I think there is a bit of a lull now. The new consoles have come out. Everyone was expecting, plenty of new games to be playing, but it's just not happened, and we're all waiting for these new games to come out. So I'm a bit the same, actually. I've been playing some older games, waiting for the new ones to come out, so I sort of get that.
Yeah. So, that's it then, Webby.
Cool. Damo.
Damo. Well, so I mainly play PlayStation. I do have an Xbox as well, but that's actually up in my daughter's room, so I've been watching her play some Plants vs. Zombies and stuff. I think, so I haven't really played any new games, but going back to 2012, there was a game come out that I would have never thought about playing before, because I was always like, people were saying, I'm into FIFA and, Call of Duty, that sort of thing. But,
some would call those people filthy casuals.
Yeah, maybe, so 2012, Dark Souls came out, and I was reading in a computer magazine about it, and I thought, that might be quite good to play. And so I started playing that, and it was, they said it was a really difficult game, take you ages to sort of get through and stuff. I don't know if any of you guys have played the Dark Souls games at all.
Oh yes.
Yeah, loved them.
So yeah, completed it back in 2012. Then went on to Dark Souls 2 and 3. When they came out, and completed them as well. Then Bloodborne. I've never played that Sekiro actually, but I've got that on my rental list, so hopefully I'll be able to play that soon. But this week, actually, I've just been over the last month. I started playing Dark Souls Remastered.
Yep.
Which was great. It's a great game. You can really lose yourself in it. If there's people out there that haven't played or don't think it's their type of game, then you should definitely give it a go. So I completed that again, and now I've gone back onto Dark Souls 3. Skipped number 2, not for any reason. I just fancied playing Dark Souls 3. And the first thing that struck me about Dark Souls 3 actually was it was a lot faster game, and it was almost like Bloodborne.
Oh, okay.
Just the way the characters sort of, he's just a lot faster in his attacks and just moving about and stuff like that. I think it was probably a more linear game as well, whereas Dark Souls, you were sort of like rummaging around in the dark. Dark Souls 3 is a bit more straightforward, which isn't a good thing or a bad thing. It's just the way it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, on the original, I remember playing the original Dark Souls and spending half my life just in bloody Blight Town, just leveling up my bloody character.
I don't even think you actually do Blight Town. I think it's just an optional.
Yeah, it's just a good place to level up, isn't it? Just to grind. I spent hours just grinding there, and yeah, I mean, I love I've only actually completed Dark Souls 1. I've never completed the other ones or Demon Souls. Purely, the only reason I completed the original Dark Souls is because back on the 360 days there was a member of our community called Brady Boy, and he was bloody awesome at it. So we just summon him in on our boss fights, and he just pwned them for us.
Yeah. That's awesome. You can summon 2 other people, and if you're not up to the level, then you can just sort of stand back and let them take them on.
Yeah.
But I was really looking forward to Demon Souls. I'd never played Demon Souls when it came out. I think it was on like PS3, Xbox 360.
It was just on the PS3 actually, the original Demon Souls.
Exclusive, isn't it? I mean, the graphics are amazing. It looks really good. I kept coming back to it, and I'd die a few times and then just quit. And then the next day I'd come back to it and die a few times and just quit. And I can't work out what was going on because I love them games. I love the Dark Souls games, but I just can't. And it's going back to what someone said earlier about the mechanics of a game. Even though they've remastered Demon Souls, the graphics are amazing.
Yeah,
that game mechanics are a bit old school, if you know what I mean. And maybe that's the reason. I don't know, but I couldn't really get on with it, and I want to go back to it. I was quite frustrated with myself for not persevering, because the Dark Souls games are all about perseverance and swearing a lot, and Dark Souls 3 is my game in a minute. It's funny because I completely forgot about anything to do with it, and as I'm playing it, it's all coming back to me, and you can just lose yourself in them sort of games. And it's funny what you were saying about your son watching you play a scary game, because one of my favourite games of all time is Alien Isolation.
Oh yeah, I love Alien Isolation. Yeah,
it's amazing. And I was playing it not long ago, and my little girl, she's like 7, and it's like an 18, and I was like, oh God. But then she started watching it. She calls it the Lizard Game.
Oh yeah.
And every day she's like, can we play the Lizard Game? Can we play the Lizard Game? And it doesn't seem to, phase them any scary bits and that, but they love it. And so I've been playing a bit of that as well. Also downloaded Medieval. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh man, I remember playing that on the PS1.
Medieval, yes. So they must have. I don't know if it's a new game or they've remastered it, but the graphics are really good, and it's like a.
It's a remaster. Yeah, PS4. It came out, didn't it? The PS4.
That's
PS4
right.
remaster, yeah.
So I've been playing a bit of that as well. That's quite a good game. It's like a children's version of Dark Souls in a way.
Yeah.
There's goblins and skeletons and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's all going. I'm just waiting for Elden Ring to come out.
You're gonna be waiting a while.
Well, I reckon it's January next year.
Oh, yeah, you reckon it's going to come out?
Well, that's what they're saying.
Well, let's hope so, because it does
Yeah.
look freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that. So yeah, I think that's about it. Just a bit of FIFA and Formula One, and all those casual games that no one cares about.
You filthy casual.
Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts on? Obviously, you're a big football game player, and you love your FIFAs. But what's your thoughts on Pro Evo just going into the free-to-play model and just doing updates every so often, so you don't have to buy a game every year? So you're not bothered about that because it doesn't have all the real teams and players and shit.
Yeah, I mean, when I used to play that back in the day, I was always, an avid sort of FIFA player. But there was a period, when I was younger, it was around PS3 time. PS3 came out, and it was like double the price of the Xbox. And back in the day, I was like, right, well, I can't afford that, so I'm going to get the Xbox instead. And then I went on to Pro Evo, and yeah, it was a bit of a hassle at not having the real names and that. And I used to spend hours like changing it all to the correct teams. And I think you can get downloads now that do it all in seconds for you to change it back. But yeah, Pro Evo was a great game, and it's probably a better actual football game than FIFA. I know I'm saying that a bit reservedly because FIFA is a great game. It's well polished. I've been jumping around the living room in the 90th minute when I've equalised. Against someone. I'm sure a lot of people will have, but
I'm sure Peebs does that as well.
Hey?
I'm sure Peebs does that as well. I can just imagine.
Yeah, I mean, if they keep Pro Evo, how it's always been a great football game, then I can't see a problem with it. And if they just want to do updates and there's transfer windows, and yeah, that's good. I mean, has that happened now? Is it, Webby?
I'm not sure, Peeps. When's that Pro Evo out? That free to play one, or is it out now? So obviously, I don't play footy games, so I don't actually know all the ins and outs.
I don't think it's out yet, but I'll definitely try it because obviously it's free, so it'd be stupid not to try it. So we'll see. But like you say, it's they don't have all the legit players and teams, so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I kind of killed my childhood a few weeks ago. I thought it'd be a good idea to buy a Nintendo 64 and replay GoldenEye because in my head, GoldenEye.
When was this? When was this?
A couple of months ago.
Okay.
I found a cheap. Well, I mean, I found a Nintendo 64. I was just browsing through eBay for like 50 quid, and I thought, oh well, I'll get that, and I'll just get GoldenEye because back in my head, GoldenEye was amazing. It was an amazing game. It was a great game, even single player. The atmosphere and that it was fantastic, and played that, and I'm not going to let it ruin my childhood because things have come a long way since that game. But it's best left in the it was best left on eBay, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's the thing, I mean, I've done the same thing with retro consoles and stuff, and really regretted it because, in your mind's eye, the games, in a nostalgic view, right, they look and play a lot better in your mind, and then when the reality hits home, you're like, oh my fucking God, how did I even play this back in the late 90s or whatever, Yeah, it is a shame, to be honest, because I have a lot of fond memories of playing GoldenEye.
It's a fantastic game, and it'll always be close to my heart. It'll probably be in my top 5 games of all time, but it's just best left where it was.
Well, the thing about N64 games, and I always thought this even back in the 90s, was the games look like cardboard stuck together, You look at the characters and the level design and stuff like that. I've always thought that, so it's just not dated well at all.
No, yeah. I mean, the music was still fine. The sound effects weren't too bad. It's just the detail. I mean, it's like playing virtual. Do you remember virtual racing back in the 80s?
Yeah.
But if you get to that now, it'd just be like, oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I always wanted them to remake GoldenEye. I think they did have a couple of attempts years ago, but they never really recaptured that.
Well, there was actually a full remake made on the Xbox 360, and it was finished, but it never got released because Microsoft couldn't come to an agreement with Nintendo, who hold some of the licensing for it. So it's never going to see the light of day in a legal way. But the 360 version has leaked online, so you can download it and play it on a modded Xbox 360, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, there was that Perfect Dark came out, didn't it? And that was supposed to be like a sequel to it, but I didn't think there was much like it, to be honest. And
No.
It never really hit the heights of GoldenEye.
No.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it, really.
Cool, man.
Well,
that's cool.
I just I wish they just bring out Grand Theft Auto 6 instead of milking number 5.
I mean, 5. They're bringing out a version of 5 on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X as well. So,
is it remastered?
No.
No.
No, of course not. I mean, it actually still looks decent now, to be fair. Like, I've got it on the PC and it still looks decent, so it'll probably just be on par with the PC version, to be honest. But, I mean, but GTA 5, it's... when did it come out? 2013?
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, that is some milking, that is.
Yeah, but they make a lot of money from the online. I think I can't remember how much it was. It was in my news section a few weeks ago on the podcast. It made them over $1 billion like last year alone.
Yeah.
So you know, if I was in that position, I'd carry on milking that cash cow as well. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, because the online on GTA 5 is actually very well done. It's very good. It's just that none of us play it.
Yeah, I mean, I have played it. I've played quite a bit online, but I don't play it now.
No,
it's always in my drawer though, ready to come out.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I think we're many years away from GTA 6, and I think people will probably be a bit disappointed with it anyway, because I think it's going to be mainly focused on the online stuff because it just makes them so much money.
No, those people that came up with GTA, they'll be absolutely minted, won't
they? Yeah. Wankers. Anyway, let's move on to what Darren's been playing. Anyway, you know, Darren.
All right, weird. Yeah, I'm just there. No, sorry, I went quiet. I'm playing full at the moment, and there was a bit of a chat went on in the FC chat. I don't know if I've upset a few people, but
What, on Final Fantasy? What?
Yeah.
Well, you're not. I thought you were playing Fortnite. You're on Final Fantasy at the moment.
No, 14. Sorry, I said 14.
Oh, so you kind of cut out a little bit. Oh, what's going on? Or you want to just tell me after?
I'll just tell you after, mate. It'll probably be easier.
Okay.
Bit of a thing.
All the
yeah, obviously 14. Valhalla. Briefly, I think there's another update for that coming out this week, I believe. They're adding some new River Raid, something to it.
Cool.
Fortnite, the previous Venture season has just finished and the new started today, which is Sunday, which is back into the Hexylvania Halloween zone again. So there's that. I'm trying to think what else, really. There's not really a lot. Demon Souls, I've just been jumping into and farming shards.
Oh, you've been playing some Demon Souls, have you? Oh, cool, man. Nice. I didn't think you picked it up on the old PS5.
Oh, I got it at launch, mate.
Oh, nice. I just never heard you talking about it. Or you might have done, I've forgotten.
Dipping in and out of it. Yeah, it's such a good game. It's like one of those games that every time you go back into it, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's one of those remasters that is like top tier remaster sort of a thing. Like, it's a wonder why there's so many other games that people want them to obviously get behind and do a remaster for, because they've done 2 really successful ones so far.
It's Blue Point, isn't it? It's a company who's done the remakes. Yeah. Cool, man.
Yeah. But yeah, my main game this week, even though it's a bit stupid, because obviously we've got, like you said, Tales of Arise sticking its head up over the horizon.
Yes.
Was I had just an itching, every now and again where you're just like, I'm not in the mood to really play anything. I feel like sinking my teeth into something that I haven't touched or started yet or whatever.
Yeah.
Out of like a big backlog. And I was looking over and I was like, Yakuza Like a Dragon I haven't started yet.
Ooh.
So I've started that and I'm now about 4 hours into it.
Yes! Love it!
And it is such a good game. Like, the thing that I've always loved about the Yakuza games is the fact that they really convey, like, Japanese cities and everything so well.
Yeah.
Like, the way you walk around the streets at night and you've got the neon lights and the sounds coming out of the different arcades, and it's all, like, obviously as someone who's been there a couple of times now, it just brings me all that nostalgia, because it's just so much like it is represented in the games. Obviously this one leans on a far more comedic aspect than the previous games, although the gangster undertone serious stuff is still there.
Yeah.
In the background, because obviously you probably spoke about this obviously when it came out.
Yeah.
Anyway, Webby, like, quite a bit. You start off basically, you go around for a bit as like a low level Yakuza, and then you basically do a favour for the mob, and you get sent to prison. And then when you come out years and years later, everything's kind of changed, and your old sort of crew and everything doesn't really want anything to do with you anymore. Just like leave it at that to a degree.
Yeah, no spoilers.
It's unfolds, yeah. And then you basically start forming your party of weird and wonderful characters.
Yeah, that's the best way you can put it. Yeah, it's Yakuza, but done in a really cool kind of traditional turn-based JRPG style.
Yes,
if that makes sense.
It is. The whole game is a JRPG with a Yakuza skin on it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they've done, and it is such a love letter to almost like both the series.
Yeah.
Like where they're sort of like mashed together. Obviously, the main character has a huge obsession with Dragon Quest.
Yes.
Which is kind of weird because Yakuza's a Sega series, and Dragon Quest is obviously Square Enix, or it was originally Enix. And that plays into a lot of the dialogue and the way people talk about, like, oh, you've got to fight the slimes to grind up and all the rest of it. And you get the job systems that you get in other RPGs. Oh, pardon me. That you can obviously switch between for different sort of like people. They get their own set jobs. And one of the jobs you actually get as the main character reasonably early on, I'd say within the first sort of 8 hours or so, is hero.
Yes.
And when your character is set to this job, they kind of hallucinate in battles.
Yes, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Rather than actually fighting like street bums and like punks and stuff, they kind of mutate and change into like these sort of like demonic looking characters.
Yeah.
That you then beat up, and like some of them have got like hairdressing scissors, and they do like weird dances and stuff to try and confuse. It's got all of the mechanics from a traditional turn-based RPG in it, and your party is virtually the same. You've got your hero class, you've got your sort of like big burly tank class, you've got your magician who's like basically does all the magic attacks and stuff like that, but has like really weak attacks.
Maybe a
I
healer.
just find it like really interesting the way they've gone around it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I liked about the main thing I liked about Yakuza Like a Dragon was the battle system, because the one thing that I was really concerned about going into this, because I've played all the other games in the series, you know, and that's kind of a very arcadey fighting style kind of battle system. So they've completely changed it to this turn-based one, and I was concerned on how it would work and how it would go down, but they've done such a good job of it. I actually prefer this to the other fighting styles in the other games.
Well, the other originals took a lot of nods from Virtua Fighter, basically, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
But yeah, it's still got some of the things in this one that were obviously in the others. Like one of the big things from the other games is you could pick up objects in the environment. Yeah. But yeah, if you're doing certain attacks and you're next to an object, he will just grab it and start smashing it around their head.
Yeah.
So it's so all well still there. The weird side quests and stuff in the game as well that I've come across.
Yep.
Like you have, again, quite early on, there's like a flat running around the city.
Yeah.
People, and then you beat him up, and then some other dude turns up and basically he's like, I'm going to give you an app on your phone which tracks all the people you beat the crap out of, basically, and he calls them like Sujimon or something.
Yep.
And it has all the references. It's like you've got to go out and beat them all to be the best, be the only one, like that. And it's like all the little references and stuff that they've thrown in.
Yeah, it's good. Well. It's so like, well done.
I've taken written exams because you've got like all these different personality traits that your main character's got, like aggression, romance, and sort of all these other skills that obviously come into play further on when you're talking to other characters and such.
Yeah.
So you can take exams for that. You can go can collecting, like on this hobo bike.
Oh, on the hobo bike, yeah. Yeah. Have you done the go-karting yet? Because that's really good.
No, I haven't. I haven't got it unlocked yet. Dragon Kart or something. I see it's there in my list, but I haven't unlocked it yet. And something called One Hero or something.
Yes,
it's probably a mobile game. I'm guessing it's a mobile game or something, right? Yeah. But yeah, I've got 3 members in my party at the moment. I've got Adachi and the other guy, whose name escapes me. I knew it. It's like Nobu or something like that. The guy that obviously helps you out at the start of the 2nd chapter or whatever it is, or 3rd chapter. Those are my party members, and I know there's at least one more because of obviously the cover art on the front of the box. And is there just the 4 characters you get in your party, or do you get more?
Yeah, no, it's just the 4. Yeah.
Oh, right, that's fair. Do you have to let one of them set out, or can you go around as a group of 4 then?
No, all 4 of you, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's just it's just great. Like watching films at the cinema as well, and trying to shake these demonic goats that are trying to put you to sleep during these old films.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably free on Game Pass, isn't it? I'd imagine, or it was for a time.
It is, it's on Game Pass.
Yeah. So it's just great fun and so well done as well. Like the way it'll flip flop between serious and comedy. Like 1 minute is completely comedic and everything, and then the next scene you've got some bloke tied to a chair getting a crossbow bolt shot through his head.
Yeah, it's such. But it's the same with all the Yakuza games. They're so diverse with the main story and the side quests and the seriousness. You know. And that's what kind of gives the games their magic as well, because you've got that super serious main quest line, and then you just got all the batshit crazy fucking weird side missions, you know. So yeah, I love it.
Highly recommend it. Like, if you're even a fan of just the old turn-based RPGs, like, this is exactly that, just brought up to date, basically. Yeah. It just has another skin to it. You don't need to have played any of the previous Yakuza games to understand what's going on.
Yeah, 100%.
It's its own contained story.
Yeah.
I'm kind of gutted because I don't know whether you touched on the news last week, but Tencent is trying to whip the guy who makes those games away from Sega.
Oh, I saw that in the news, and I hope that doesn't happen because that just suck balls. To be honest, it would suck.
Yeah, I mean, technically the guy could maybe think to himself, like, yeah, I've already told the story of Kiryu.
Yeah.
And I imagine this is probably its own self-contained story.
Yeah,
so is he going to possibly maybe do another game featuring this main character, or will he go on and do another game in its vein? Because this kind of feels like a game that's just its own. I think he'd rather maybe go back to like a proper Yakuza game. But then again, they've got Judgment, haven't they? Which they're obviously trying to spin off into its own kind of thing. And I believe Judgment is set in the same universe as the Yakuza titles.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I love the first Judgment. Judgment 2's out at the end of the month.
In a couple of weeks, yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting that. Well, Wes is buying that, so I don't need to actually buy it myself. But I would have done if he wasn't picking up, because I love the first Judgment. It's set in the same city as all the Yakuza games, and obviously a lot of the clans that you encounter in the original Yakuza games and characters are in it as well. But it's its own, set story. You're a private detective, and it has its own storyline there. So yeah, it's really, really good. It's really well done, and it's only PlayStation exclusive as well. It won't be coming to PC. I'm not sure about Xbox either, to be honest.
I think it is coming to Xbox. It's just a PC.
It's just PC. Okay.
That's the only thing, isn't it? Because of the main actor's likeness, that's what's causing the issues, which means they probably want to take this series further, but are they going to be able to? Because they're basically excluding themselves off of a platform entirely if they stick with him as the main character.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? And Sega make a lot of money from PC, so yeah. Judgment call. Haha, see that? Haha. Okay, anything else, Darren?
No, that's been pretty much it. I've did a little bit of work this week, so I haven't been around all the time, so I just thought I'd sort of get stuck into that, and the time just flies by, because there is a lot of dialogue. I will warn people on that. There's a lot of dialogue and cutscenes and stuff like that, but the characters are so interesting and well done. I don't care that there's a lot of dialogue and cutscenes. Like, some of it's like pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it is.
And again, there's a lot of the characters in these games have a very like morally grey.
Yes, they are. But that's what makes them interesting and makes them feel more believable, right?
Yeah, it makes them feel more a part of that world, with obviously all that kind of stuff going on in a city as well. This isn't obviously just out in the countryside little neighbourhood or whatever.
No. Cool, man. So if that's all the games you played, Darren, shall I get into the news?
Yeah, may we.
Okay, then. As always, if I've missed any news and you've got some yourselves, feel free to chime in at the end. Okay, the biggest piece of news from this week, for me personally, is something that I'm very excited about. It looks like Alan Wake Remastered is coming out in October. Next month. Fucking awesome is that? So it's going to be coming to the PS4, PS5, Xbox, all the Xboxes and PC. How cool is that? Out of nowhere, a remaster of Alan Wake. This could be a precursor to an announcement, I feel, that Alan Wake 2 might be in the process of being made. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be good. You're going to buy this if it's true? Is this confirmed? Because it looked like... Did someone put it in
like it was rumours. It looked like it was rumours, but when I was investigating it today, just before the podcast, it looks like it's real.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I saw the news about it today, yeah.
And I think, don't quote me on this, I think it might be coming to Game Pass.
Oh.
But if it doesn't come to Game Pass, I'm just going to fucking buy it anyway. I don't give a shit.
I'll buy it as well.
Such a good game. So good. Oh, yes. Awesome. So that's awesome news. There was news this week on the PlayStation 5 about Horizon Forbidden West. So a lot of people were up in arms because Sony had put out an announcement saying that if you buy it on the PS4, you will not get an upgrade to the PS5 version, like in some other games that have come out. But because of the backlash throughout this past week from the fans, Sony have rescinded that, and you can now get an upgrade to the PS5 version from the PS4 version, but you've got to pay $10 for it. Which would bring it in line with the price of the full PlayStation 5 version, because it's 70 quid, and I think the PS4 version is 60. So 10 is better than a full game, right? But I mean, this game's been weird, like from the start, because originally it was going to be a PlayStation 5 exclusive, and then they decided to bring out a PS4 version, and then they were like, oh, you have to buy them separately, and now it's like they're doing an upgrade. Fucking make your minds up, you bastards. So, yeah, I just thought that was a bit of an odd piece of news for this week. Okay, so Battlefield 2042 news has come out this week. Big thanks to Clarky and the community for putting the video up on to our Discord channel in the news section for me. So, Jack Fragg's a very famous YouTuber.
Finally,
who plays shitloads of games and that as well. He did a video about Battlefield 2042. Now, the issue that I'm having with this game, I'm still excited for it, but my excitement has been dampened slightly. And it feels like to me that they've codified it a little bit. And what I mean by that is they've added actual specific characters which have specializations in the game. So you've got a specific character who has like a specific pistol that does a certain thing. You've got a specific character specialization that has a grappling hook and some other specializations. So it looks like there's these 4 specializations, and they also have these takedowns, which are like, the Call of Duty takedowns, but they're third person. Wow. So then, and the reason I'm a little bit concerned about this is because it doesn't really fit in with Battlefield to me, having these specific characters, having these specializations, because if you've got 128 players on a server, you're going to have like multiples of all these different specialization characters all looking the fucking same. So it's going to like just be odd. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I don't think this is a good idea unless it, like, the whole thing hasn't been shown off properly on this YouTube video. You know what I mean? Guys, does that make sense?
Yeah.
It just seems an odd decision. I mean, everything else about the game sounds great, right? About you have the World War II and the modern stuff, and you can have all the different game modes on the servers, etc., etc. But just with this addition of these specializations, it just feels a bit odd that this decision has been made. Now, one thing that I think might be the reason for this is that they're gonna run it a little bit like a free-to-play game, where they're going to run different seasons, and in different seasons they're going to add more specializations like they do in Rainbow Six. It's just something to keep an eye on, really, and just something to think about before you buy the game, to be honest. So, yeah, it's just something that I wanted to add. Okay, there is a new... Why are the videos not being... Right. There was a trailer that's come out for a new PlayStation 5 exclusive. Well, it's coming out on PS4 as well. called Project Magnum. Now, this looks quite cool, actually. So it's kind of like a sci-fi type third-person action type game. Now, all they showed off was the trailer, and I don't have any more details for it. I'm just playing the video now for those who are watching on Twitch. And it just looks quite interesting. You know, a third-person shooter type hack and slash with like loads of sci-fi alien bullshit. The only thing I'm a little bit like concerned about with PlayStation with this is that PlayStation seems to have gone a little bit backwards, because a lot of these games are coming out on PS4 and PS5, and I was thinking that they were kind of wanting to hit games just being on PlayStation 5, but yeah, this is on both. So yeah, I mean, it looks very much like that kind of Final Fantasy 16 type art style as well, though. So yeah, I don't know. It looks cool, but it just kind of looks like a little bit like dumb shooting and that as well. I'm just kind of keen to see more information on it, because there was a hint of kind of like a big open world, etc. in the trailer. So yeah, it's just something to watch out for, guys, really. Another piece of news is that there's a new model of PlayStation 5 that's come out already. Yes, a red tone. It does look like Gears, doesn't it? Yeah, just going back to that. It does look like the PlayStation version of Gears. Yeah, so there's a new version of PS5 out, and a lot of people were concerned about this because it's been opened up and the heatsink is smaller, and it apparently runs 4 degrees hotter than the other PlayStation, like the original PlayStation 5s. But I think people are taking this just out of context, because Sony aren't going to release a console that's going to fucking break on you all the time, right? So I just wanted to say, stop panicking. Everything is going to be fine. Console and technology revisions happen all the fucking time. Yeah? Don't worry yourselves. Everything is going to be okay.
Good. Glad to do that.
Yeah. And if it does break, you're under fucking warranty anyway, so don't worry about it. Cool. So that's what I want to say on that. Okay, another little piece of news about China. So obviously we all know that gaming was banned in China for a while, and now they're allowing gaming in China. But the new laws have just been released this week for children and gaming. So basically, this is how strict they are. All online gaming can only be available for 1 hour, 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock in the evening on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays. Every other day, no online gaming is allowed for minors.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And what they're going to do is they're going to supervise this. So if game companies don't adhere to these laws, they are going to just shut them down. So apparently a lot of stocks have fallen for a lot of gaming companies that were kind of relying on China. So yeah, just something that I think, we're very lucky to live in the UK, where we're just free to do whatever we want. You don't want to be living in China where they fucking monitor everything you fucking do online and restrict you to an hour a day of gaming only on the weekends. Fuck that bullshit. Yeah?
Okay, we'll be there. We'll come in for you.
That's it. So there's that. And what did I have? I didn't have any more news. Yes. So there is a video that I think people should watch. It's called Exposing Fraud and Deception in the Retro Video Game Market. It's done by a YouTuber called Cole Jobst. I think I've probably said that completely wrong. But he does a really good investigation into the retro sales market in the US of A. This is where, I don't know whether you saw in the news about a sealed copy of the original Mario Bros. On the NES selling for $1 million. For $2 million, sorry. And only like 3 or 4 years before that same copy was sold for $30,000. And it actually exposes how there's actually collusion going on between the auction houses and the company that is selling these games, because I actually so basically it exposed that the dude just bought it himself. He bought it back off himself, and loads of other crap going on. So all these crazy prices that we are seeing in the retro video game market is just a false economy, and it is actually people are doing it nefariously. And it was a really interesting watch. It really, really was. It even goes into how they set up this appraisal company for video games. So there was already an appraisal company that's been going for like 20 or 30 years, but this other dude set up his own company and bought games off himself through his own fucking company, right? And he even... This is how deep it went, right? The dude who set up this new company managed to get onto episodes of Porn Stars and say, well, this copy of Mario that I've got here is worth like $100,000, blah, 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 just to up the market. And it was all just pure fucking bullshit.
I watched that episode of Porn Stars, actually. I saw that.
I love Porn Stars, but now I'm like... Oh,
I do as well, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just a really interesting watch, and for those of you who listen, and I know there's a few of you who are retro game collectors, it's definitely worth a watch, because it just goes into showing like how the market is manipulated, and it tells you about how they also manipulated the comic collecting market as well in the 90s, and how that went up and down, and and how it was all manipulated, as I say. So definitely worth a watch. Absolutely fantastic documentary. Again, the name of this... Oh, look, it's just actually showing it on the Twitch now of him in the Porn Stars shop now. The dude. So, yeah. It's called Exposing Fraud and Deception in the Retro Video Game Market by Cole Jobst. Jobst. It's probably pronounced Jobst. So, yeah, check that out. I'll put a link into the show notes as well for people, and into the Twitch and all that as well. Really worth a watch, and that was actually my last piece of news for this week.
Yeah, that's a good piece of news, Webby, actually, and really interesting show to watch. I'll definitely be watching that.
Yeah, it's 100%. It's so interesting, and it just goes to show how easily the market for things like this can be manipulated by a few nefarious people in some quite high up places.
Yeah, I remember the episode of Porn Stars. I think I watched it the other week, actually, and he came in and the Super Mario was in this plastic case, and it had been given like a 9.8 or something, which is like unheard of. It was the only one in existence, and he was asking for £1 million for it. Yeah,
crazy, absolutely insane.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, does anyone else have any other news? Guessing that's a no.
Did you talk about the PlayStation stuff or not, with the game pricing and stuff?
No, I haven't seen that news. Tell us more, Darren.
Oh, well, no, that was a big thing over the last couple of days. Obviously, they announced like all pre-orders are now open for Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah.
And you're like
£70.
Yeah, £70 on PS5, £60 on PS4.
Yeah.
You can buy the PS4 version, and for an extra tenner, you can upgrade to the PS5 version. And people started getting their knickers in a twist.
Well, because this goes on to that piece of news that I was saying earlier, Darren, where Sony backtracked on, because they weren't going to do that upgrade, right? That's what I mentioned a little bit earlier, and then they backtracked and said, "Oh, we'll just charge you a tenner for the upgrade, just so the prices align."
Yeah, that's basically what it came down to. It was just basically like, well, technically you're having the PS5 version then, so you'd be buying the PS5 version, so you should be paying the same price.
Yeah.
And obviously, straight away, you've got all of the other lot coming in, going, "Oh, this is why on this machine you just." But then again, it's like we've said before, if you're buying a game on Xbox, you're buying it on that platform. If you're buying a game on PS4 and PS5, they're separate platforms.
Yeah.
So that's why you haven't got this thing of like you know with PCs, we've said it before. If you play your game on a potato PC, you're going to get it potato quality. If you play it on a high end, you're going to get the best version possible.
Yeah.
Out of it, which is how all of that basically transfers. But yet, it's hard to obviously get that mindset in on the PlayStation lot, because you've got a lot of them that are just like, well, them over there, they've got that. We want that as well, and it's like, well, you're not really going to get that.
Yeah, it's just like a platform.
Basically, PlayStation caused this own shit themselves, like you say, by backtracking and making the games for the fucking PS4 in the first place.
Yeah.
None of those games should be on PS4, full stop.
Yeah.
Then they wouldn't have this issue. They wouldn't have to be backtracking. And the funny thing is like there was a load of people created a fucking stink online, and they basically went, fine, we'll scrub it then. So I think they've backtracked on that. So technically, you could just buy the PS4 version of the game and upgrade it to the PS5 one for free and save yourself money.
Yeah. That's why they're doing that £10 charge. But I don't know why video game companies listen to the vocal minority on social media. They are just, as I said, a fucking tiny minority of gamers. Stop pandering to those fucks and just do what you initially were going to fucking do, for fuck's sake. I don't understand this corporate fucking backtracking because of these stupid cunts on Twitter. I don't get it.
It's not necessarily on that as well. I mean, I just sat there and laughed and thought, you the kibosh on that pretty quickly, but yet you're still enforcing all your censorship bullshit on your platform. You haven't fucking rolled that back. You're still not allowing your Japanese developers to put out the games they want to make.
Yeah.
So it's. I just found that entire thing quite hilarious, and I saw just as much outrage about their censorship as I did about this. But yet they're probably just looking at it and thinking, oh no, we're going to have to try and do something here to blah, blah, blah. And even people from various media formats and stuff have even said, like, these games shouldn't be on the PS4 as well.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally at the moment 2 games, I believe, on the PS5 that you can't play on the PS4. And that's Demon's Souls and Returnal.
Yeah.
And the machine's been out almost a year.
Yeah. But then people say, oh yeah, but look at the Xbox, there's no exclusives on there either. Me. But, you know, that's just fanboy arguments, isn't it?
You buy, generally, like, if you're buying a PlayStation, most people buy the PlayStation for those niche games or those exclusives.
Yeah.
They've pretty much killed off the niche market to a degree at the moment. Even to the fact that even the niche games that are coming out still, they're only coming out on the PS4 because the company hasn't got any incentive to put them out for the PS5, because the PS5 isn't doing particularly brilliantly in Japan, because they've kind of turned their back on the games that Japan actually likes.
Yeah. No, well, I'm hoping it makes a comeback, mate. I mean, just don't know. I mean, PlayStation are in a funny place at the moment. Obviously, COVID has ruined a lot of things with games, and I know what you're on about with the censorship. Obviously, that doesn't help with PlayStation moving to California, which is the most left-wing part of fucking the United States of America anyway. But they're alienating their audience there, and that's why a lot of these games are now going over to the Nintendo Switch.
Exactly, which is like one of the most biggest, is the biggest selling console in Japan.
Yeah.
And it's kind of irritating to the stage where almost like when a game gets announced, you know, you'll hear about a new game coming out in a series you really like, and you're getting all excited, and you're like, this is amazing, what's this about then? And then you look, it's like, ball game. And you just think to yourself, oh, fuck's sake. Like, what a waste of that license and stuff. Like, fair enough, you're going to be raking in the money and all of that lot from, like, the normies and stuff. That's perfectly fine, but you've kind of pissed off a lot of your fan base.
Yeah.
Which kicked off the whole, like, thing with Blizzard, wasn't it? With Diablo Immortal or whatever it was. It wasn't the fact that it was a mobile game. It was the fact that they were like PC players that went there to hear about all the PC things, and you're just going to sit there and rattle on about some shit mobile game no one really cares about.
That's it. Yeah. One way to piss people off.
Huge disconnect at the moment with the media and obviously like games companies and stuff, especially like knowing what their customers actually want.
Yes, because I listen to that vocal minority, as I said, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you must have talked about the Saints Row shit last week.
Yes. Yeah.
What was that crap?
Oh, I know, the new Saints Row. I don't know if you've seen it, Peebs or Damo, but if you played the original Saints Row games, they were really fun. They were just wacky and just fucking, I don't know, I just loved them, right? But the trailer for this new one, it just looks like the characters are just being ripped straight out of the fucking playbook for those, you know... I don't know what the word is, Darren. What would you say the word is?
I don't know. Just copy and paste typical Western media shite. Like that's what the characters were from. So you got the shaved head strong woman.
Yeah.
The effeminate black man, because you can't have any black characters in games slightly aggressive or whatever, because some people find that threatening. You've got the brainy woman, and then some guy who's shirtless and looks like he's ripped straight out of Watch Dogs or something, and he wants to be a chef. And like the developers turned around and went, "Oh, basically, we wanted to make a cast of people who were millennials,
I'm out,
who turned to crime to pay off their student loans." How is this? Like, it was so funny. I watched so many reaction videos of like Americans and that sitting there and that, like just sitting there chilling. It's like, yeah, man, I can't wait, dog. Let's get into this new Saints Row. And like 30 seconds in, just watch their mouth drop, and they're like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Like,
I know. I mean, Red Tone just summed it up in our Twitch chat. He just said, SJW row, I'm not interested.
It literally is tick box fucking marketing and stuff. It's just like the shame is Volition are a good developer. I actually personally quite liked Agents of Mayhem. I know it was like a smaller thing and it was doing different stuff. Wasn't anywhere near as big as the other games, but I quite liked it. It had a lot of issues in places, but I had quite a bit of fun with it. But like, if this fails, they could be finished as a developer.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't see it selling that well, because when companies try and do this, it's that old you go broke, go fucking broke. Yeah, so I don't see it doing very well at all.
Yeah, I mean the funny thing is like I spoke to you about, Webby, is in the article they were talking about the decisions they've made, and they were like, yeah, we wanted to make sure we didn't culturally appropriate and all this lot, and I'm just
I mean that's the complete opposite of what Saints Row was all about originally.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It was just
Saints Row is a tongue-in-cheek gangster sim, which you could either play seriously or play sillily. Like, it gave you that option. In the latter games they removed the option to play seriously, and it just went full stupid to the fact that they took the series to a place where you couldn't ever come back from without rebooting it.
Yeah.
But then for them, the developers, to say, oh, those games and characters and things were from a time and people have moved on from that time.
No,
they haven't. No, they haven't moved on from that time.
Well,
this is a weird misconception that I see in a lot of the media, where it's like, people don't want this, people don't, and yeah, we fucking do. You don't want this. You're pushing for this to be sort of moved away and for it to go in a slightly different direction, but it's not what the customers want, and we see that time and time again with things coming out and just falling flat on their face.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you go to the official trailer, right, and this sums it up, right? You got the.
Have they disabled the likes and stuff, or
no,
not? Or...
It's got 25 likes, to 25,000 likes, 54,000 dislikes. Yeah, man, it's just. I have to say, one of those dislikes is mine. I'm just very proud to say that, right?
I've never really ever gone to the point of actually being like, you know what, I don't like that, I'm going to down. I generally haven't really downvoted any video, I don't think, on anything or whatnot. I'll just be one of those quiet customers that will just won't bother picking it up. I mean, the game could still be decent, but like the Saints Row cast of characters were already pretty far out there, and they were an eclectic bunch of people. They weren't just like different. I mean, I hate to use the term fucking diverse. They were diverse, a bunch of people. Bit of a thing. You had like Asians and blacks and like Latino and all that kind of stuff. They were all there. It wasn't sort of like part of the, oh, you have to do this. You can't have this in the game because some people might find it offensive. Like all of Saints Row was offensive.
Yeah, I mean, you
could run around with a giant. Yeah, you can run over pedestrians and stuff. That's offensive.
Run around with a giant dildo and smacking people around the head with it. You know what I mean? You know, it's just fucking mad game. You know.
But the thing, weren't it? When did they say someone because it was scarred or something, and they got it changed?
What's that?
I don't remember. So I think it was you told it on the podcast, didn't?
Yeah, there was a line that says that a character's bitter and annoyed because they've got a scarred face. Did you actually know?
Yeah.
You can no longer have a character with a facial scar as a villain.
What?
In British TV.
Are you serious? What the fuck is all that about?
This is some fucking law thing that the BBC and that have implemented.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Because it's a stereotype, apparently.
Oh, for God's sake. Well, in that case, American films...
It also makes people with real facial scars, like, apparently we look at them in the street and think, there's a villain.
Well, in that case, American movies can't have English bad guys anymore because that's the stereotype. I'm deeply offended.
It's just it's just all gone so stupid and silly. Like again, if people aren't aware, have you seen recently any advertisements of women in the kitchen in advertisements?
I don't have live TV, so I don't watch adverts because I run an ad blocker.
Because you're not allowed to anymore. Because you're not allowed to have women in the generally cooking in the kitchen and stuff anymore. In TV adverts, because it's a stereotype. It's a
my goodness, I'm going to have to tell my wife about this, who lives in the kitchen.
Yeah. Generally, you'll see a lot of adverts now. It'll be the male in the kitchen cooking, or the male sitting there looking after the kid while the wife goes to work, and all of this stuff. There's a weird sort of Diversity and Inclusion Act or something that the BBC and the BBFC.
I don't understand that because they seem to think that more that putting they're trying to push that women should be. I mean, women can work, I don't give a fuck, right? But they're trying to push that being a mother isn't this is how I feel about it. Is less important than going out and working for some fucking faceless company. But in actual fact, being a mother is the most important job any woman can do. Bringing up kids is a lot harder than going to fucking work, and I just think that's gone, and that's where the lack of morality in the wider community is coming from. I think because there's a lack of parenting going on. You know, I mean, I mean, in my household,
TV and entertainment is now the parenting thing, isn't it? Like, you'll get a lot of people nowadays where you'll have someone will do something or produce something, and then you'll see someone in the comments and be like, "Oh, what about the responsibility of you doing this so kids and stuff aren't?" And you just want the company to turn around and go, "It's not up to me to fucking bring up your children. That's your job.
Yeah, that's it.
That's your fucking job. Don't sit them in front of an iPad all fucking day.
Yeah,
and just turn your back.
100%. And I think there's that lack of parental responsibility these days, which I think is very sad to see. I mean, what I was going to get to, Darren, is I'm quite fortunate now that I've moved house. Then this is very rare. My wife doesn't have to work now for the next few years. She can just look after the kids. That's very fortunate because most households need a dual income just to fucking survive. But we made the decision that raising our kids is super important, and I'd rather her look after them than send them off to some not faceless, just some random person every fucking day. And that kind of family values, that family unit thing has been, there's two things for that. It's kind of, one thing, it's been lost, and secondly, it's forced on a lot of families because you need the two parents to be fucking working, and I think that's really, really sad.
Exactly, yeah.
That it's come to that, to be honest. Well, that's just my opinion on it anyway. Other people are probably shouting at the fucking speakers right now.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, let's just think this all suits everything, all thing anyway, because maybe it'll mean people have less children, and obviously overpopulation is going to become a huge issue.
Yeah, I mean, I've got friends who are married who never want to have kids anyway, and that's becoming a bit of a norm now, and I don't know, man.
If you literally go on Twitter, you won't want kids at all.
Well, no,
be like, bringing kids in amongst all this. What the fucking hell's going on?
No, it's crazy.
Jesus.
But I mean, Peebs' kids are pretty much moved out of that now, and I don't know if he can agree with me on this or not. But it's I think raising kids is very rewarding in its own way, and it's those relationships that you build with your kids. You can't beat it.
Well,
Obviously,
that's
Damo
actually,
as well. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say that's becoming more of a personal thing now, because I know it's happening in America a lot. Parents are pulling their kids out of schools.
Yeah.
To homeschool them because the schools are teaching them weird shit.
I mean, this is this is going well off gaming.
Look, should we just spiral this back to gaming?
The last thing I want to say on that subject is quite interesting, because on a personal note, and I might cut this out, I don't know. So the guys on Twitch are very lucky that they get some personal insights. But these are some serious discussions that my wife and I have had. I mean, I say we're very lucky that my missus has been a primary school teacher for 13 years or so. Obviously, she's just quit her job in the last few months or whatever. But we've been having those discussions down, do we homeschool our kids? Because we know what the curriculum holds for children, and a lot of it we don't agree with, because I think kids are sexualised far too young these days anyway, and I like to, kids should be kids, right? And they're pushing all this fucking bullshit onto them. It's just confusing them, man.
Certain things until you're in secondary school.
Yeah, 100%, man. I 100% agree. And I feel sorry for Damo living up in Scotland, because it's even worse up there.
Do you know what? It's quite an interesting thing. My kids, they'll go out and play with whoever. They'll play with, black kids, brown kids, whatever. And they never actually said anything about it. I thought one day they might be like, how come they're a different colour to me? That sort of thing. But they never said anything. And kids aren't born racist or anything like that.
No, not at all.
The only time they brought it up is when they were taught at school about races and religions and stuff like that, and then they've come home and been like, so why is that child black? And it's because they put it in their mind that there's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
If they wouldn't do that...
And it's wrong, because there is no difference, and kids have so much to teach in that way, because they're innocent, they just see people for people, And as you get older, you have all this stuff shoved in your face, and it divides people, and it's wrong.
Yeah, and it's like, my little girl just started primary school. She's in year 1, so she's like just turned 5, and they're teaching them about private parts, and who.
How old? Sorry.
How old is she?
She's 5.
Fucking what?
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, but that's disgusting, mate. That's far too young.
They're saying, "Oh yeah, I can't let anyone see my privates," and that's what they're teaching them at school, And I think that's wrong, really.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's because they put labels in it, and also getting onto the football thing. I know this is a bit off topic, but the other night England played, and a few of their players were getting racist chants and that. When I was
Hungary fans, wasn't it? Yeah.
By scum. By fucking scum. Scum has always existed. It always existed. It always will, unfortunately. We have to fucking ignore those people and blank them out. It's obviously fucking horrible for the other people. And also, they're two-faced pieces of shit. Because as soon as that player fucking scores a goal for them, they're all jumping around whooping like they fucking won the lottery.
Yeah. That's it, mate.
What I'm talking about is the Hungarian fans were, giving our black players grief, making monkey chants and stuff like that. But obviously England fans aren't. There's a few of them out there.
I'll say the England fans aren't fucking, angels themselves. You know what I mean?
No.
So. Yeah.
I mean, what you ideally kind of want with things like that is I'm sure most stadiums and that have cameras and things.
Well, that's what they were saying on the news. They're looking at identifying them from the CCTV.
Single them out and give them lifetime bans from attending the football games.
How the fuck did we get to this from video games, man?
I don't know.
It's off topic, yeah.
It's just conversation, isn't it? It just wanders off. But yeah, I can't even remember what he was talking about. It was originally Saints Row, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then
so anyway,
but yeah,
that was the last piece of news, right?
Yeah, hopefully more companies will start to sort of acknowledge what people want. Like I said before, there's a ton of franchises out there people ask for year after year after year. And we just hope that if they do get announced and sort of obviously brought out, that they don't sort of like decide to change them and make them different from what they once were.
That's what happened with Battlefield. The Battlefield one, they didn't sell very well because it all went woke, and then they've obviously they've obviously decided not to do that this time.
Yeah.
That's because they tried rewriting history and stuff in that game, didn't they, as well?
Yeah, I got a lot of bad press from that. It's a shame because the multiplayer was actually quite fun. Yeah.
Did you mention the Sony event on Thursday?
No, I didn't.
There we go. Yeah. So there's apparently a Sony PlayStation event happening this Thursday, and as far as I know, it's not a state of play either.
Oh, so what are they going to show? That's interesting.
This is basically, according to PlayStation, like a look into the future of our system and new and upcoming games. And
what? Until you said the upcoming games part, I was thinking, is it going to be another one of those boring ones where that bloke talks about SSD speeds for an hour again?
So
everyone's asleep.
Probably not. So yeah, there's a lot of rumours of like possible God of War Ragnarok first look and some other bits and bobs, and then I think David Jaffe, who's obviously a developer back in the day, he was involved with the original God of War, and also involved with the Twisted Metal series back in the day.
Oh, nice.
And he said like he's seen some of the stuff that PlayStation's got coming out, and including one game that he said hasn't been leaked or talked about by anyone yet.
Excellent.
And he basically said, if you're an original fan of the PlayStation, you're going to go nuts when you find out what it is.
That sounds awesome. Excellent.
So whether it's an actual new game or some form of backwards compatibility, I don't know. But then some of the backwards compat stuff's already through PS Now anyway, isn't it? So
yeah. Well, hopefully it'll be something super decent. So that sounds cool. But anyway, is there any more news? Because I've just got an idea for the conspiracy show demo that we're going to do. Hello?
Yeah. No.
Obviously we were talking about the stuff that divides people, race, gender, whatever bollocks there is. The conspiracy theory of that there's a force at work pumping all this stuff to the media to divide people so they can keep control of us a lot easier. Or the Russians or the Chinese pumping all this into the media.
Yeah, because it's so much easier to control people who are taking part in riots and protests and fucking other shite. How is it easier to control them people?
Anyway, we're going to save this for the conspiracy show. You can come on, Darren, and
I may just will, mate. I may just will.
Because I can explain it.
The weird shit I see online about all the anti-vax and all that stuff as well. Like, if we even get that far.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a few topics that we can have in the. I think we're going to have a few of these conspiracy shows. We just need to organise when we're going to bloody record them. Maybe when the summer's out. Maybe after September we can start doing them. But I've got a few good ideas for these shows anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah, cool. I look forward to it.
Cool. Right, I think we've been going for 2 hours on the recording. I think that's about time, to be honest. Unless there's any...
Have we got any questions?
Oh, fuck, questions. We do have 2 questions.
Here we go.
3 questions, and they're kind of on what we've already discussed anyway, so I'm going to be very quick. So, Clarky79 says, more guff released for Battlefield 2042 for the classes, etc. What's your thoughts? Not sure about the third-person takedowns, as it looks like it's trying to be Call of Duty Warzone. I think I already made my thoughts completely clear on that question earlier.
Yeah, what was one of the first... Oh, it was Halo. Halo was one of the first games to have kind of like the third-person takedowns,
yeah,
thing,
it was, yeah. So people aren't happy about that, obviously, in Battlefield. I think it's a bit of an odd choice, but...
No, they had that in Battlefield. I don't know if they had the third person. I know they had like the whole you steal your dog tags thing, didn't they? From
it was all the first person in Battlefield Bad Company.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've answered that already, so I'm going to move on. H-Doob says, thoughts on Alan Wake Remastered, rumoured for October. Will anyone be playing it? Hell to the yeah! Day one, baby!
Yeah, new achievements, remastered. And I might actually be able to collect all the collectibles because I missed one.
Ooh.
Was there DLC for that? Well, was there DLC?
Yes, there was 2 sets of DLC for that, yeah.
This will probably be like a game of the year type thing.
Yeah, The
interesting thing is it's on all platforms, isn't it? As well, it's not just Xbox.
Coming to PlayStation. Well, it's Remedy. They're not owned by Xbox, are they? And I know they're
they are.
Oh no, they're not. No, they're not. No, I'm pretty sure they're.
I thought they did. I thought they bought the people that made Control and all the rest of it.
No, I'm sure Remedy Entertainment are separate to Microsoft. Otherwise, it wouldn't be on. Wouldn't be on there, would it? It wouldn't be on the PlayStation.
Well, I know Control obviously would have been before I thought the deal was brokered between the companies.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about... Oh, so they had a partnership with Microsoft until 2016.
Right. There we go then.
Yeah. So because wasn't Control on everything? Yes, it was. And that was in 2019. That was, yeah.
But obviously, Quantum Break was on the Xbox, wasn't it, and PC, and obviously Alan Wake similar.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Day one purchase, as we say. So that's all good. All good. And D Twin asks a very important question: what is your favourite pizza topping?
Pepperoni.
That's a good question.
Does pineapple pizza?
I have to say, yeah, ham and pineapple for me.
I do like ham and pineapple on pizza.
Why has it become such a big thing at the minute?
People are weird. I like a spicy pizza because I'm a weirdo. So I like pepperoni, but loads of jalapenos. Oh, so delicious. Yeah. Oh, it's making me hungry.
You like a hot curry, yeah?
I love a hot curry. Oh, yeah.
Or a barbecue pizza.
Would you have like a vindaloo, Webby, or...
No, I mean, I say I like spicy, but like I actually like my favourite curry is actually a madras.
Oh, yeah.
It can be quite spicy at times. It depends on which, obviously, which taste.
Yeah, where you get it from.
Yeah. There's anything hotter than that I can eat, but I won't enjoy it as much, you know. So.
Well, but as I've got older, it gives me terrible indigestion and.
Yeah.
As you get older, I think everything gives you indigestion. It's just part of the fun of getting old.
Well, beer and curry is the ultimate way of getting an upset stomach and a bit of diarrhea. Yeah.
Nice.
Bit of heartburn. Can't beat it. Cool. Right, that's all the questions, guys. If you do want to put questions out in the future, join the Discord and go to the podcast question section, and it's all there. All is good. Right, on that note, we've been going for just over 2 hours. It's been really, really good to talk to you all tonight. I've really enjoyed myself. And we're going to end it here. So from me, Mark Webb, Gamertag, PissMD, Steam ID, Webby360G.
Chivo Whore, Mr. Peebs.
And good night from Demon Knights.
And Switch. Catch you next time. Bye.
So thank you very much. If you want to listen to next week's show, you'll need to sign up to the Patreon. The website for that is patreon.com/360gamercast. From as little as £5 a month, you can sign up and you'll get an episode every single week of the year. You also get all the special episodes that we do on top of that. And you also get a special rank in the Discord community and your own little chat room that you can take the piss out of me on and that as well. For all the links for the Discord, the social medias, and the link to the Patreon, if you've forgotten it already, just head to 360gamercast.com. Everything is there. And even a link to a podcast player if you want to listen to the show on the website and don't want to download it. It's all there. 360gamercast.com. So thank you very much. We will see you next week. Goodbye.